Alistar down and kind of dissuade Alistar from going in for those headbutt pulls, right?
Yeah, pretty much, and he's got to be careful of the Alistar level 6 power spike, because once he gets that ulti, he gets like 40 free AD or something, and the auto attacks will hurt, so he's got to be even more careful then to keep his distance.
Yep, that makes sense to me. One thing we kind of glossed over was the Xin Zhao versus Shyvana matchup. This is going to be a really, really weird thing, because Shyvana jungle just seems really awkward to me. It always has. It rose to prominence in Season 2 when nobody knew how to counter jungle, and Diamond Prox was just running over people with it because of her incredible clear speed, but everyone's so used to it now. Used to getting counter jungle, used to warding to prevent it, and used to collapsing. I just don't think Oni no Ken's going to have a very good time on the Shyvana jungle.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to counter jungle as much as he was before, but you do need to really consider as well, there's the new smites that he has available to him, so he might be able to pull off some pre-6 ganks if he has the Stalker's Blade, I believe, getting that 30% slow on somebody and then come flying in with the W turned on. That is a lot of potential damage in pretty much any of the lanes he shows up in. That slow is going to mean free Morgana binding, it's going to mean free Jayce Shock Blast, it's going to mean free LeBlanc Chains. So there's a lot of things that people can follow up on if he chooses to go a more gank heavy route, if he's worried about not being able to counter jungle there.
Yeah, and I do think Shyvana's going to have success if she tries to focus her time in either the top lane or the bot lane, just because, as we discussed, the setup with the smite onto Jayce Shock Blast or Morgana Qs is going to facilitate the gank so well that if she goes mid, going mid is not going to be necessary, even though ganking Cassiopeia is probably really easy. But I think she's going to have much, much more power trying to catch that Leona or that Alistar out.
Definitely. So we are now into the game. I'm going to go ahead and get these champions lined up in where I believe they should go. Jayce top, Shyvana jungle. Looks good.
Does look good. So what do we expect anything crazy coming out of these team fights, or just more of the same kind of? I mean, we can talk a lot about what these teams should do, but I expect just a lot of picks and roams from our wonderful LowElo games.
Yeah, well, there's always a lot of picks that go down in these games, and I think that's just a deficiency of vision that happens, or people are a little bit squeamish to perform turret dives and things like that. And between these two comps, you don't really want to dive either of the other because there's so much CC flying around. But I think, yeah, it's probably going to be a more pick-oriented game going on here.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, I do want to say that if anybody is going to dive, it should probably be Mini Stretch, just because Alistar is just such an absolute monster at going in on towers with his ultimate.
Oh yeah.
Alistar is a stupid champion.
He's very good at the turret dive, and if he plays it correctly, he can come up behind a turret, knock someone out towards his team, and then Leona can follow up with some Zenith Blade stun to the face action too. Yep,
for sure. And they do have, we didn't even mention it, but there's the wombo combo aspect of the Cassiopeia ult, the Leona ulti, and then the MF ult, all on top of each other.
Yeah, and then that Alistar knockup thrown in there with a little bit of that passive stomp damage coming in. It's going to be really devastating if blue team gets caught out as a group out of position. Yeah. So they have to be careful for that. Starting items coming out here. Both top laners are looking like they want to go for the long game. Starting that flask on both sides. Jayce opting for a little bit more early vision with that ward. Going against the Xin Zhao, that's probably a good idea. You can expect to get ganked early and get ganked hard. That dash in combined with the Alistar knockup means certain death if he gets caught out.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be the third time we've seen it on stream, this P-Tex versus Mini Stretch matchup. And I'm excited. P-Tex hasn't been able to win one yet, but I feel like this is one of his best chances with the way these teams have been picked.
Yeah, definitely. That Jayce also can solo carry a game if it gets too far ahead. Those shock blasts will tear people apart. Top lane, P-Tex doing a good job. That's exactly what I'm talking about there. He wants to go in with those auto attacks, make Alistar burn his heal on himself, get that mana nice and low, and that way he's got a chance to take advantage of him when he's got no mana left.
Yep. What do you think of Mini Stretch going for that flask? Maybe is the flask better than a Cloth 5 in this situation?
Well, it depends on what he wants to use his mana on. If he's willing to take the hits there, kind of burn the pots over pots for the health rather than worried about getting his mana back, because part of his pushing power is going to come from that passive when he uses his heal. So it really just depends on whether he wants to try to push the lane out or if he's willing to stand there and let it get pushed in towards it.
Yeah, as both top laners do kind of love tap each other. We see the Jace to the skies, and the Alistar headbutt coming in right there. Yeah. And P-Tux comes out on the edge there. Just oh my goodness, this bot lane too. We're starting to see that Caitlyn dominance come up with a 4 CS lead.
Yeah, Platypus goes in there, but the Black Shield is nice and quick. Mid lane, looks like They Call Me Jim picks up a quick early kill on Lance Tao. That's going to be first blood going to blue team.
Yeah, just you got to be really, really careful in the early levels against any LeBlanc lane. Crazy Carl coming in, misses the dash though, decides to pick up the farm. Not sure what's going on in this mid lane, man.
Yeah, bottom lane, it looks like Overbar gets taken very low by Platypus, and both ends of blue team have gotten taken in. Plat going in for a very nice trade for his side. Oh, Binding lands onto the exiled player. Piltover Peacemaker comes out, but Plat responds with the Zenith Blade. It looks like he's going to get driven off by those auto attacks and the fact that he's got some minions there hitting him.
Yeah, and we're going to gloss over the fact poor Shyvana went down to the gromp. That guy's mean, dude.
Yeah. Ooh,
oh man!
Good flash in from Ogrebar, takes out Leona in the bot lane. So good exchange on blue team's part.
Yeah, he made sure when he flashed, he had his headshot primed. So
right.
when he went forward, he definitely was going to get the kill there. Just a good play.
Oh. Yeah, top lane, Cosmic Gator going in on P-Tux there with that Headbutt Pulverize combo, just laying down the hatred. Both, actually, looks like Jace has still got one tick of his potions left. That Shock Blast does not land, and now he's going to be in a hard-pressed situation considering he's got so little mana. Alistar can heal back up as well. And I think that deficiency in mana and HP is coming from the fact that he's taken that ward instead of 2 more potions.
It could be, but we also see that Mini Stretch has been forced to use all of his regular pots, whereas I can't quite tell if Jace has used any of his flask pots yet. So this might still be in the advantage of P-Tux right now.
Yeah, actually, it looks like both sides' flask spots are completely down. P-Tux does have that one normal pot, though.
Okay. So assuming he can play it right, P-Tux definitely has the chance to still be in this lane.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Surprisingly, the mid lane, despite the kill, They Call Me Jim has only managed to sustain a 2 CS lead. I would expect to see another all-in coming in from him. Seeing as he still has his Ignite, I would probably like to see him. Oh my goodness.
Top lane, Alistar picks up the kill on Jace there, and this is going to be devastating for Jace considering he's got so many minions sitting under his turret. He's going to lose all of that XP, and now Alistar's going to have the XP advantage and the gold advantage there. Jace is probably going to need a gank.
Yeah, They Call Me Jim going in the mid lane. He manages to land the stun and the Ignite coming down on They Call Me Jim, but it's just not enough as the final Q comes in.
Yeah, this is the point in the game where I'd say They Call Me Jim probably wants to start roaming. I know it seems pretty early, but with a 2-kill lead on the LeBlanc, you've got level 6, pick up some boots, probably Sork shoes, start showing up top, showing up bottom lane. That's how you pull your team ahead. You win your lane, and then you start snowballing the side lanes there. You don't have to take your turret down always. Yeah,
well, I mean, this is the point in the game when he's going to be strongest. Oh, Smite comes in on They Call Me Jim, but Crazy Carl has no mana. Yep. He's going to go down from the chain auto. Oh my goodness.
Good damage from They Call Me Jim. I believe he's leveling that W first. Yep, that Distortion's going to allow him to dash in and clear waves very quickly, and as well as do a ton of damage in these trades if he's quick about it.
Yep, and unfortunately that's for the red team. That kill that Crazy Carl gave up gives They Call Me Jim just enough money to pick up those boots. If I was They Call Me Jim, I would definitely do exactly what you said. I would roam to probably this bot lane. I wouldn't go towards Alistar. That's too hard of a lane. But your bot lane's already winning. If you can cement this lead in 2 lanes by a simple roam, it's just going to be so much better for the blue team.
Yeah, and especially when you're snowballing mid, I'd say showing up bot's probably the better option, considering there's always a level difference there. You gotta remember there's 2 people sharing XP down here, so if you've got a couple kills under your belt, you're usually higher XP than everyone else on the map, and then going bot is even huger for you.
Yeah, They Call Me Jim opts to go for the Morellonomicon and go straight to lane. Not a bad option, not a bad option. I mean, if he can just put the pressure forward and keep Crazy Carl W in his lane, that's also okay. It's just not taking as much advantage of his gold as we would like to see.
Yeah, he can still push this wave out and possibly roam, but without those boots, it's going to take him much longer and leave his turret much wider open to being pushed on than it would with the boots. Bottom lane looks like Xin Shao's trying to show up for a gank. Platypus goes in and gets stunned down on Ogrebar before the Black Shield comes out. That trap's going to go down and stop Crazy Carl in his track. Piltover Peacemaker comes out while Crazy Carl is sitting on that Tormented Soil, and he's going to dash right back out of that one and make sure he doesn't take any additional damage. Mid lane, it looks like They Call Me Jim is going in once again and picks up another kill on Lance Teo, and that's going to be a 3-0, kill difference between Jim and Lance there. Really need some jungle pressure right there.
Yeah, and I would really, it's getting to the point where if They Call Me Jim stays in this mid lane, he's kind of wasting his time and his money. It's going to be so long before Cassiopeia can catch back up in lane experience and gold that if They Call Me Jim does not need to camp him any harder. He needs to show up and probably get another kill in the spot lane on someone that is worth full gold value.
Froshi saying that it's 4-row kill difference between the mid laners, but one of those kills is coming from the jungle. I was just saying that Jim has killed Lance 3 times is all I meant. Ogre Bard doing a little bit of trading there, and it looks like Crazy Carl died in the jungle on his own, unfortunately.
Well, that's alright. That just evens up the deaths that each jungler has. Oni no Ken went down once to the Grump, and I'm not sure what took out Crazy Carl there, but just it's all even across the board.
Yep. So this is the point in the game where blue side's gonna probably want to start looking towards that dragon as well. Dread Warrior in the bottom lane flashes in and puts down the Morgana ulti on both the enemy team members. Exile players in a bit of a hard position, actually gets taken down by the Piltover Peacemaker, and Captain Platt's gonna have to flash right out of that one. Mid lane, They Call Me Jim goes in on Lance Tower once again, and it's gonna be one more auto attack to take him out. Yes, it is enough. The poison and ignite are ticking, but it looks like that's not gonna be enough damage. He lives with 20 HP left to go.
That was beautiful play by They Call Me Jim. He managed to pop the double chain onto Cassiopeia, and that snare was just too much. Just too much. Oh my goodness, please don't die, Oni no Ken.
This jungle seems pretty rough for Shyvana right now. I'd say that, honestly, you probably want to start visiting your lanes a little bit more. Ogre Bard is doing a lot of damage to Platypus here, but he's going to take 2 to 3 turret shots for his troubles before he nets his way out of there. And it looks like they're just going to push this wave in, try to deny some of that XP.
Yeah, oh my goodness. But yeah, I really feel like Shyvana it's fine to go with the hard farm sort of style that we're seeing out of Oni no Ken right now, but he needs to put more emphasis onto the dragon if that's his case, especially with how hard his mid and bot lane are winning. There's almost no excuse not to be pushing for that 6-7 minute dragon when you get a double kill in that bot lane.
Oh yeah. Just want to make sure that you snowball that lead even further, because especially with that Morale Namicon by LeBlanc, that bonus bonus AP that he's going to get, it's going to just do so much more work than it would if he had Sork Shoes. Top lane, Crazy Carl comes in for a gank. P-Tux backs up immediately before he can dash in. Crazy Carl showing good presence on the map here, but unfortunately not able to get any successful ganks off yet.
Yeah, it's blue team has been warding and playing extremely carefully. As They Call Me Jim goes straight on the Lance Tao, dodges the... Oh my goodness, dodges the gaze, picks up the kill on Lance Tao, and unfortunately goes down.
Does go down there. Bottom lane exiled player going in on Oni no Ken will get taken out, and it looks like Platypus is going to get stuck by the binding there. Dread Warrior presses his ulti, and it looks like Platypus is not going to get out of this one for sure. Blue side with a 2-kill advantage there with that play. It looks like they might try to go for the dragon. Oh, P-Tux knocks Mini Stretch under the turret, but he's going to flash away towards the Tri-Brush rather than trying to run the full duration of the turret back out of there. Good move on his part to make sure that he gets out alive.
Yeah, also good recognition knowing that his Ignite would finish off P-Tux right there and just walked away casually. Probably the best call out of blue team right now. Oh my goodness, as Crazy Carl goes into Dread W.
Oh my goodness, Dread Warrior looks like he's probably done here. Good spin on Crazy Carl, will finish off the kill, and it looks like Ogre Bard's going to force the flash out of Crazy Carl. He's trying to get him low enough and takes a knee there, but it won't be enough damage. Good job making sure he had enough auto attacks to know that his ace in the hole would take him out. Poison lands onto Ogre Bard, though. That's going to give the increased movement speed to Lance Teo, and that will give him the kill from over the wall with the Twin Fangs.
Bit greedy going for Crazy Carl right there, but these two are friends, so I expect that was a bit of fun coming at Crazy Carl.
Yeah. All right. They Call Me Jim. Good ward coverage is going to mean that he knows exactly where Lance is. He's going to pick up a refresh blue buff for himself before pushing this mid lane in and denying even more XP under this turret. Jim is doing just a fantastic job in this lane. Like I said before, he should start roaming to these side lanes. He's picked up his what is that? The Fiendish Codex for the extra cooldown reduction. I assume that's going to be turned into a DFG. But honestly, those Cirque shoes and showing up in those side lanes is going to just start producing more global gold, and that's what you want to look towards in this point of the game.
I agree that he's not. LeBlanc is not the best tower pusher. There's not a lot of value out of her staying and trying to siege this mid tower. No. If she shows up to a Caitlyn lane, a Caitlyn Morgana lane, she's going to have a much better time. First off, she's going to probably get 2 kills, She's going to get that tower, and she might even be able to secure a dragon. It's just better map rotation.
Yeah, and up in the top lane, Oniken tried to gank a mini stretch, but the magic penetrations got from the Sorcery's got him a kill instead. Ulti goes down in the bottom lane from both Dread Warrior and Platypus. It looks like Platypus is now stuck in the middle of this fight and is going to get taken out. They're probably going to push that turret over. They Call Me Jim lands the binding on Crazy Carl, and that's probably going to save his life and allow him to escape from yet another bandit kill in the mid lane.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal play in the bot lane side. We saw a max range Morgana of Dart out, so Ogrebard netted forward to place the trap under him, under the MF there, securing the kill as Dread Warrior. Then once they did not stack their CC, they overlaid it very nicely. Got the binding, the trap, and then the dark binding or the soul shackle coming in all consecutively. There we go.
Yep, it looks like They Call Me Jim when P-Tech's catching a Cosmic Gator. This is the rotation that I'm talking about. You need to make sure that you help out your side lanes and get them back in the game, especially in situations like this when they're kind of struggling. If you're the driving force behind your team, you need to make sure you're actually taking your team somewhere, not just sitting in the parking lot. P-Tux is getting hit by another binding as Red Team tries to secure this blue buff from himself. Blue Team doing a great job of harassing and just making sure that Red really has no clue that this dragon's going down, and they secure it nice and easy. Platypus eats yet another binding from Dread Warrior. Crazy Carl goes in on him, trying to get the triple knock-up hit on him. Ogrebard's stuck in the middle of the team here. He gets stunned out by Leona right after Dread Warrior goes down. Oniken turns around and rejoins the fight, but it looks like Crazy Carl's going to take him out. Crazy Carl versus Ogrebard now. Ogrebard trying to just kite out as much as he can, but the dash is going to come right back up, and he's just going to get taken out with the third strike.
Yeah, unfortunately P-Dex didn't catch that fight happening on the minimap, and so, oh my goodness, They Call Me Jim just removing MF from the map, man. Yeah. That's just brutal.
The magic resist needs to come out in force right now. In force. Yeah. Zinshao needs to just stop whatever he's building or whatever you plan to build. Get yourself a Banshee's Veil. Get yourself, a Locket of the Iron Solari. Something. Oh, 1v1 Cosmic Gator versus P-Tux. Knight goes down, but great timing. Game. Yeah, great timing from They Call Me Jim. Just making sure that the Alistar ulti runs out before he actually uses his abilities to knock him over there. And like you said, P-Tux Dangerous Game Mastery, just keep him alive there.
Dangerous Game is a beautiful mastery, man. It is the best.
It will make so many people angry. I got a little mad earlier today, but that is okay. These things happen.
It's terrible when it's... Oh my goodness, They Call Me Jim just sliding away from the Zenith Blade. Doesn't matter to him. This is turning into a stomp pretty quick, man.
Yeah, it really is.
And I feel bad for the red team because Crazy Carl tried to make the plays. He's just never in the right time or the right place to do it. And you can't do a lot when your two strongest, the two lanes you need to win just kind of get shut down.
Definitely. Crazy Carl just getting caught out by a little bit of a binding from Dread Warrior there, and he's going to back up and say, you know what? This crab would be great right now. Picks it up and gets the speed boost. So slight grouping coming from blue side towards this bottom lane. I'm not quite sure, considering that turret is already dead and gone. They probably want to focus a little bit more towards the top side of the map. Try to help their Jace knock over his turret, because that's going to be the easiest global goal that they can pick up without going too deep.
Yeah, honestly though, I don't really think it matters where they group, as long as they group as 5.
Yep.
Because they can siege, with this team comp, the Jace, the Morgana, and the Caitlyn, they can siege almost anything. It does not matter where they go. It looks like they're going to get the mid tower and probably try to trade the bot inner tower, which probably not the best, but as long as they get gold, it's better. It's better than nothing.
They Call Me Jim looking for a pick on the backside of the enemy team there as top lane Cosmic Gator finally takes out the P-Tex's turret and goes in for the fight. They Call Me Jim dodging out the entirety of that MF ulti from the exiled player, and it looks like Mini Stretch might be able to pick up this kill. They Call Me Jim trying to flash out of that binding Crazy Carl trying to flash out from that binding from They Call Me Jim, but it will take him down there.
So what we just saw there was Red Team decided to group and push down the mid tower. Blue Team sent 2 people bot lane to counter push, and Red Team backed off as soon as they lost the tower. Meaning they could have taken that second inner tower if they had stayed as 5 and tried to push in, but they kind of hesitated and it cost them big time. Leaving Crazy Carl as the only guy that wanted to push, allowing They Call Me Jim to take him out. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is... if Red Team had just stayed and pushed their advantage, their player advantage, they probably would have only lost one tower and forced Caitlyn Morgana back instead of having to back up and try to meet them in the push in the bot side.
Yeah, a little bit out-rotated there. That blue side push on the bottom lane was very successful. They call me Jim dashing in on the exiled player. The exiled player going to flash out of that one, but instead Lance Teo's going to get bound out. Good ulti coming out of him, though, and it's going to put it down a serious amount of damage, but they call me Jim. He says, you know what, I'm just going to dash right in and take you out anyway. Zeroing out that health bar. Very, very good.
They call me Jim, yeah, just showing up right now, man. I don't know what happened to him, but he's showing up big today.
Yeah, I think what he's doing is he's playing a little bit more risky, and he's reaping the rewards of that risky play. In the red side top jungle, it looks like Crazy Carl is trying to catch up to Oninokin with Platypus at his heels. If he can get that knock-up, that will be a stun coming out of that Leona, but it looks like they're actually going to meet up with a completely separate fight. Cosmic Gator throws down the ulti on Alistar, and he's auto-attacking in the middle of everyone. He's waiting for the Pulverize cooldown to come back up, gets it on Oninokin, tries to headbutt him for the last hit of damage there, and it's not going to be quite enough. Ogrebard shows up and picks up a kill onto Crazy Carl at the very tail end of the fight, and Platypus is left limping away from it all.
Yeah, that fight started off as two separate fights that were really, really good for Red Team, but when they converged the two fights, they realized that they were outmanned and outgunned when Ogrebard showed up and just kind of ran over everybody.
Yep, so it looks like the Dragon and Baron are coming up in the next 45 seconds-ish on each. Big objective is going to be up here for that blue side. I think they're going to want to do whatever they can to try to control that, snowball their lead even further, and start getting that vision down deeper into the enemy jungle, like they have been doing. I mean, they're able to get these pickoffs because they have that deep vision, and that's how you snowball your advantage right there.
Yep, vision is the key to success in any game. One thing I want to point out, too, is MF took her huge gold deficit and built a static shiv first. That is not the correct decision. That is really, really questionable just because she needs... It basically means she does no damage with her ultimate by not building AD, and her team does not need the additional wave clear the Shiv offers at this particular moment. Cassiopeia can fill that role very, very easily, so... What MF is, her build route is taking her gold deficit and really ruining it, like burying her. Caitlyn takes a knee, it's not enough damage. It's any stretch.
Yep, it looks like top lane turret's going to go down to P-Tex and Ogrebard, though. Crazy Carl goes in to initiate the fight, and that's actually going to produce a kill for the red side. Good flesh pulverize coming out of the Cosmic Gator. Throws the ulti down to make sure that he does not die to Ogrebard, and the headbutt's going to finish him off there. They called me Jim, lands the binding onto Cosmic Gator, but he's not going to look for that kill. He's just going to walk away from this fight. Shyvana down on the bottom side of the map is looking towards this dragon, as 4 members of the red team are up in the top side, but I don't know if she can knock it over before they get there, especially with the preference she's putting down on this vision, which is usually good. But considering LeBlanc knew exactly where everyone was, I would have started possibly hitting it, gauging how much damage I do, and then backing up if it's not enough.
Yeah, definitely a little bit awkward movement right there, going for the counter vision and the vision on the map. But it's also not a bad idea for her to remove as much vision as possible and then maybe try to stall this dragon take because the death timers are so short.
Right.
Unfortunately, she's not going to be able to do much about it. Yeah, misses the smite. Crazy Carl goes straight on the Oninokin.
Yeah, knock-up land, Zenith Blade misses, unfortunately, but still the Pulverize from Alistar will keep her in place. Good binding comes out from Dread Warrior onto Lance Teo, and no one's really worried about that binding at the moment. MF hasn't been able to get a huge amount of AP items under her belt, so they're not really chunking like they will in the late game if he decides to go that heavy AP route. But he still does have the utility of that lockdown. Cosmic Gator gets a little bit angry at They Call Me Jim for landing that chain on him, turns around and gives him the headbutt Pulverize, takes out about half his health, but They Call Me Jim sees the ulti and walks away.
Good decision by the Call Me Jim. No reason to throw the damage into the sponge that is an ulted Alistar.
Yep.
So, giving up the first dragon to the red team is detrimental. It's not really what you want to do as blue team, but they still have a 6-7k gold lead, and they just need to group as 5. We haven't seen them group as 5 at this point in the game. They need to take advantage of their extreme siege, have LeBlanc off to the side, not trying to flank or anything, but oh my goodness, Crazy Crow.
Wow, good combo play coming out of Dread Warrior and Ogrebar. The takes a knee did not kill, but it did a huge amount of damage. Platypus throws it down to face the mountain from over the wall. Good stun comes out after the Zenith Blade, and it's going to be the combo that just takes out Morgana's health bar completely there. Ogrebar now stuck in a scary position as this Alistar headbutt and Pulverize combo is destroying people.
Yeah, and you know they got Zinzao. It's about sending a message, right?
Yeah,
I
pretty
mean,
much.
it's an excellent tilt over Peacemaker, but it was in the end it was nothing but bait. They call me Jim catching the headbutt pulf combo from Mini Stretch. We need to get him to change his name for real because this is really confusing.
Yep, the Cosmic Gator tossing or just chasing out. They call me Jim. It looks like Jim will get away from this one, possibly turn around onto Platypus, who just gets exploded by that damage on that dash. P-Tux follows up on Cosmic Gator from behind, but the heal is significant here. He's trying to catch up, but the headbutt will knock him over even before his passive can pop initially. Good pulverize is going to knock P-Tux into the air, and Lance Teo joins the fight from off to the side. Headbutt back in, will pick up the kill onto P-Tux, and it's going to be the Twin Fang damage from Lance Teo that picks up the kill onto Oninokin. Now Ogre Bar and Dread Warrior joining the fight up here. It's going to be them looking for a binding, but the Crab joins the red team and blocks it out completely. Crazy Carl dashes in, lands the triple knock up onto Ogre Bard. It's going to be the smite that finishes him off. He's now looking towards Dread Warrior for the kill here, but Dread is really waiting for that Tormented Soil cooldown to come back up. He's thinking, you know, can I kill him? And the answer is no, it's just not up in time.
Yeah, good decision not to even try it, man. Blue team's starting to get greedy for these kills, and it's really, really starting to show in the confidence that red team is showing at the moment. They're grouping as 5. They're picking these people from blue team as they come up in these 1s and 2s, and they're just slowly climbing back in this gold lead. Man, we saw that 6K, 7K gold lead. It's now about a 4.5K gold lead. Oh my goodness! I don't know what needs to happen, but.
Well, what's going on here is that They Call Me Jim's got pretty much the entire team's gold. Or actually mostly him and Ogre Bard are, but they're not in a position where they can pick up these kills easily. Cosmic Gator's the one who's running around the map, making these pick plays, and he's the one they want to do that considering his ulti makes him so resilient. Red Team's just doing a good job of playing off the back of Alistar and making sure that they put him out in front and everyone else can fall up behind. And they're not looking for a full-on 5-on-5 team fight either. They're looking for these short little skirmishes, and that's really where Red Team's accelerating their game from.
Well, I mean, and this is what I wanted to see so long ago. You just see the Morgana bindings. This siege is so dumb. You see the Piltovers, the shock blast. Oh my goodness.
Good binding. Chunkstown exiled player. At this point, Oniken could have gone in, but it looks like Cosmic Gator gets the jump on the fight there. Knocks over Morgana immediately. That ulti's not going to be anywhere near this fight. Oniken gets taken out by yet another headbutt from Cosmic Gator. They Call Me Jim fails to dash over the wall and is now stuck in the middle of the jungle with Crazy Carl. That cooldown's going to be back up in a second, and he uses it to take out Crazy Carl. Platypus 2v1 versus P-Tux and Ogre Bard. He's getting an auto attack down, and it looks like Lance is a little bit squeamish to join this fight. Finally throws down the ultimate, and yet another headbutt comes out from Cosmic Gator, checking out the enemy team with the pulverize as well, and now P-Tux has to try to run away from everything. Switches to Hammer for him to get the movement speed buff from his passive, but Cosmic Gator is still chasing him, throws down the pulverize in frustration there. He's actually probably was just on the cusp of his headbutt range. It wasn't quite there though.
This is one of our biggest criticisms that we always say about Caitlyn players. We always feel like they just don't do enough in these team fights.
Right.
Caitlyn is huge right now. She does tons of damage, and she managed to pick off the people that we wanted. But once, Mini Stretch gets on top of her, once somebody gets on top of her, she just doesn't really have the toolkit to do that once somebody closes in on her 650 range. It's so hard. It's always so lackluster to see Caitlyn in these team fights when they aren't abusing the siege. Like, Blue Team had started to siege, and then they kind of ran off and tried to pick MF, who isn't worth it. At the moment, MF is not doing any damage.
Right.
So Blue Team lost their composure and went for a kill that didn't matter, and they lost by not staying composed and sticking with the plan. They're not taking advantage of Ogre Bard's huge gold lead.
Yeah, definitely not. It looks like the good shock blast is going to go into the middle of the enemy team. Not do as much damage as it might do. Oh my goodness! Cosmic Gator goes in on Ogre Bard, lands the ignite, and just takes him out completely. They Call Me Jim throws the ignite down onto Cosmic Gator as well, but it's already too late. He's going to walk back away, get into the jungle, probably recall and reset his entire HP bar, but that's a good pick on his part. I'd say the Register Red team wants to look for a fight. Good stun on They Call Me Jim's going to keep Crazy Carl alive in the middle of this river fight here, as MF is kind of looking for, can I I join this fight or not? Get in there, please! Ulti
Dude.
comes down from Leona, and Crazy Carl is trying to get back into the middle enemy team, lands the dash slow on them. The Q from LeBlanc does not kill him. Onino can get to the middle enemy team. The bullet time comes out of Exile player, which does pick up the kill on Shyvana, and now Red Team's going to back up, look for the kill on P-Tux, probably get some vision down and reset, or maybe even go for this Baron. I don't know if they want to do that, considering their tank is not there, though.
Yeah, it's so dangerous to go for this Baron. They're going to chase down Pete. At least Platypus is going to chase him down. Maybe not be able to pick it off, though, as the Ignite and the knockaway
The
happens.
minion damage is doing a huge amount of work here. He's probably taking 400 in minion. Binding lands onto Platypus there. His name used to be Captain Plat, but now it's Platypus. Gotta get used to that Widowcaster.
Is it? Oh,
yeah.
Man.
And now Red Side has the man advantage on the map. P-Tuck's going to go and recall here while the rest of Blue Team is off in the base. This is a perfect time for Red Side to try to look for another Dragon pickup. They don't really need that Xin Zhao to be there. They can kind of pick it up really quick with their Cassiopeia, but it looks like since there's no vision on the map, no one wants to take the risk, and they're just going to walk away from it.
Yeah, this is, we're not seeing a lot of emphasis on neutral objectives this game. That Dragon has been alive for probably 4 or 5 minutes right now. Both teams are very comfortable with brawling each other, which I'm still shocked Blue Team has accepted this duel.
Yeah.
They're just, like, Red Team has such a chaotic team fight. Anytime you have an Alistar on your team is going to thrive in chaos. Just because that's what Alistar does. He walks in and he just throws everybody around, does everything.
Yeah, he's got that Lich Bane, so that knock, headbutt, pulverize, auto attack combo is destroying health bars. He's got the Void Staff as well, though I don't think the enemy team has very much magic resist, so I don't know if that's the correct buy at the moment. It looks like Crazy Carl and Cosmic Gator are going to pick up this kill on P-Tux very, very quickly. Headbutt comes out, does not finish him off, but the auto attack with that Lich Bane will. Red Side pinging that dragon, but little do they know, it is already taken out and gone. So they're going to waste a little bit of rotation time here trying to see if that dragon is up.
Yeah, they probably could have risked the Baron right there and been okay with it. You always risk... If you keep your Alistar in the backline ready to peel LeBlanc coming, you would have had a very good chance of taking that Baron, or at least being able to disengage. As They Call Me Jim catches the full headbutt pulve combo.
Oh my goodness, it does so much right now. He's got to back up to the turret. He's backing in vision, trying to bait Cosmic Gator in, but instead he just chunks out Dread Warrior. He's playing the Assassin Cow role this game, and it looks like he's finally going to get taken down by They Call Me Jim. Ninja Cow will not live another day. Ogre Bard landing the auto attack after that binding from Dread Warrior goes down on Crazy Carl. Ulti from Exile player is not going to do too much damage, but it looks like the Zenith Blade from Platypus will land onto Ogre Bard. Ulti comes out from Shyvana, but it's not going to hit anyone. Another fantastic binding goes down on Lance Tao, and that's going to signal P-Tuck to jump in with the 2 disguise. Good turnaround and stun from Lance Tao is going to delay the fight a little bit, but he's going to get taken out in the end. Platypus joining the fight a little bit late before the rest of his team was quite ready. Binding lands onto Crazy Carl, and he's going to get shock blasted in place underneath the Make It Rain. And he's just going to get zeroed out. So a lot of just one-at-a-time play going on there by Red Team just allows Blue Team to pick up these easy bindings and easy kills.
Well, what a difference that team fight made, too. Both teams lost their most important members, their most fed members, you know, the LeBlanc and the Alistar. But we just saw Blue Team run over that team fight once Alistar was out of it. Once Morgana was allowed to just peel, once Morgana was allowed to just keep the team fight under control, there was no chaos or anything. It just was a single-handed stomp coming out of Blue Team. We may be seeing a sneaky Baron coming. I would love to see a sneaky Baron right now if they had the counter vision.
Yeah, that would be great, but it looks like Blue Team's just going to pick up the crap and recall. They've got literally the entire team here. I'd at least start hitting it. What I do in these situations is hit the Baron and see how the enemy team reacts on the map. If they start moving towards the location, you know it's warded. If they stay in place, then you've got a legitimate chance of picking it up, and there's not too much risk there. Yeah,
I mean, it's always dangerous to make these Baron calls, but sometimes just whacking the Baron, seeing what happens, seeing who moves is all you need to do. As They Call Me Jim tries to pick Platypus, might actually be able to do it as the first chain comes down. Zenith Solar Flare comes out, they'd call me Jim just dashing away once he realizes he doesn't have quite enough damage.
Yeah, Platypus has done a good job in terms of his itemization. He's prioritized even before his second sweeper upgrade, getting that Locket of the Iron Solar to start protecting people with the AoE magic resist and the shield from this LeBlanc burst. He doesn't even have his tier 2 boots finished, and I'd say that's probably correct, considering you need to make sure that the rest of the people on your team above yourself are protected against this burst damage.
I agree. The only thing you can do even better against the LeBlanc at this point is you need to start seeing your key members picking up Banshee's Veil. If you can block that sigil coming out of LeBlanc, then you're going to reduce her damage dramatically.
Yep. Chat calling and saying that it's going to be a 43-minute finish to the game. They're trying to make their predictions here as to when they think it's going to be done. Oh, red team going for a sneaky Baron. It looks like, the blue team shows up. Good flash in from Morgana, but getting zeroed out completely by Cosmic Gator. P-Tuck's in the middle of the fight, a little bit close. He doesn't want to be this close to everybody. He's got to back up and try to get back to his gun form, but he gets taken out by Cosmic Gator in the very end. Good pulverize is going to keep the damage from They Call Me Jim from completing. As his ulti goes down, Binding will land, but it looks like Okrabart's doing a fantastic job of making sure he gets these auto attacks down. He has not taken a knee quite yet. He actually took a knee before the fight even started, which is how I like to see that Caitlyn ulti used.
Do the Baron. There we go. I love it.
Now blue team just turns around and says, "This is ours now."
Yeah. Great. Like, it was a great attempt at a Baron right there. It was really good. They just didn't back off quick enough. Purple team, that is.
Yep.
And once they backed off, they didn't quite react fast enough to get on the Caitlyn. She just kind of sat there completely ignored.
Yeah, that is very true. She did a good job of kiting there and making sure that the other high priority targets like P-Tux and They Call Me Jim took all the damage there, so.
Oh my goodness, yep. I mean, they just managed to focus down the people that mattered again. Like, Alistar lived for a while, so they just ignored him, picked up the key target, whoever was squishiest as they could.
Right.
And blue team does, and it helps they were softened, red team was softened up by Baron too.
Yep, so blue team needs to use this Baron buff now. They've got all of the pressure back on their side. Red's going to have to push out some of these side waves, and that opens up this mid lane for the pushing. As it looks like Dread Warrior spots Morgana over the wall, lands a binding there. P-Tux throws a shock blast, and it actually triggers the panic flash out of exiled player. Worried about the follow-up damage there.
One thing I do see also is P-Tech goes for that Youmu's. I don't know if that's what he wants to do. It doesn't really match the Siege style that this team needs to be playing with.
Yep.
Like, he needs to get a Last Whisper or something along those lines, or a Bloodthirster, because you need to still play that Siege style.
Yeah, Last Whisper, Bloodthirster. I would have even considered making a Black Cleaver out of that, just to try to soften up people a little bit better, but to be honest, with the tenderizer that is They Call Me Jim right now, a lot of times you don't even need to soften people up. And you can just burst them out completely.
Yeah, we see Dragon respawning, but I feel like with Zin's out dead, it's the correct decision to try to siege, take advantage of the comp right here. Maybe even just go for the aggressive tower dive as They Call Me Jim gets on the flank right here.
Yeah, they do have Dread Warrior with that Zonia's Hourglass, so he can show up in the middle of the fight and lock people in place, which is just so advantageous for this team. The AoE damage coming out of that LeBlanc dash, if people are locked down, with the Jace Shock Blast on top, will take out probably 3 or 4 people down to a third HP, and that would just allow people to clean it up afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing some great itemizations coming from both parties right here. The only thing that needs to happen for this game to end is we need to see exactly what's coming out of the blue team. I think they finally realized that they need to just siege and win the game.
Oh yeah, we've got infinite range. Oh my goodness, the Cosmic Gator just throwing down his ulti there to try to reduce some of this damage. Second binding lands, 2 chains is going to get that kill right there. Platypus actually caught on the wrong side of the wall there. It's going to get caught up by the last hit of that Caitlyn auto attack, and that just means that red team's getting picked off right now. In the bottom side of the map, a lonely Chinaman is taking down a dragon all his own. I'm not sure if that's the right play, as red team actually surrenders. Did anyone in the chat guess 36 minutes? Terria is the winner of this contest. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, yeah. That was probably the correct decision to surrender, as blue team, the only way red team won there was if blue team continued to not understand how to siege. But once that happened, it was pretty much over. Yeah,
and they just have really a solid comp for doing so. They've got the Caitlyn auto attacks, the Morgana